Well, I did have a question. I served on the Central Avenue small area plan that proposed the arts trail, and it was my favorite part of the plan. And I guess I wondered, because I mean, it really was beautiful. So it was sculpture along the parkway, and then it was business-sponsored art that would be kind of a rotating gallery from 18th to 27th, and as work sold, and other work would be commissioned, and so it would always be different. And then there was this wonderful, like, little walkways and open-air cafes down where the big arts buildings are, and the pictures were gorgeous. And I guess I would say to Mary, like, steps 1, 2, 3. I mean, I understand we don't want to get involved in the planning process, and none of us want to go to endless meetings. But how do we get the chicken before the egg, or whatever we need to do to like make concrete steps toward getting an arts trail started here?
Well, I do think you have to kind of like pick where you want to start, and maybe that's where there's the most energy. I mean, maybe the most energy is. In this part of the, what's this part of the
Creative?
Yeah, the creative, yeah, or the urban gallery part. So maybe that's where there's the most energy, so start there. The thing about, if you have the cooperation of the business sector already, and a lot of interest in the business sector, which it looks like you do from around this table, it might be good to start with where that energy is. You don't need a lot of approval for business owners to do things on the front of their buildings as long as it doesn't violate any codes. And so, but pick a section and start there. The park board has been piloting this whole notion of pedestals where people can come and put art in the Comus Park right now. And they did a call for, they put some pedestals out there, not pedestals, pads. And then did a call for artists, and they have had some interest. They're just piloting it this summer. I haven't been down to see it, to see how it works. But, I don't even know, I wasn't part of the planning process. I don't know how much the park board has bought into that part, or whether or not this is a place where they want to do that type of work. But if they're successful in Comus, maybe it would be. If they're not successful, maybe it won't be. So we'll see. I mean, I think they have the capacity to pour pads. Fancy pedestals are a different thing, whether or not they have the resources to do that. But it does seem like you have a lot of interest on behalf of the business community, and maybe you could build on that. And, the interesting part is the part about displaying the works of art that are for sale. And that's kind of a unique piece. I haven't seen that anywhere else in the city. And we certainly do have the resources in terms of local artists who might be interested in participating in. There are going to be the logistical things of figuring out how does that work and how does the art not get stolen and things like that. I think are doable. And so maybe one of the things you could do is pull together a group of people and say, where's the energy that we want to start?
There's quite a bit of art on the river, on the city side of the river, through the Stone Arch Bridge and Fifth Avenue Bridge, in that there's worms on the top of the cement buttresses, and there's turtles and grasshoppers. And how did that happen? Who did that?
That was part of the renovation of that part of the park on the river.
So
and
that's park board stuff?
Yeah, it was commissioned by the park board as part of, I think actually the landscape architect who did that work. His name was Marjorie Pitts. She designed like the walkways and everything. The animals were part of her vision for that. And I think it was purchased, those animals. Well, I'm not sure I would recommend it because they keep disappearing and not very good. The design isn't very good in terms of keeping them there. But I think that was part of the project. That I know of, I don't know, you could talk to the park board, but I don't think they have any major capital plans for that part of the parkway in there.
I can tell you personally, to walk along and discover one of those things is one of the most exhilarating experiences you can have on a walk. But multiply that times 3 when you see it missing the next time. It's a terribly disheartening experience to see it gone. And so then you back up and go, do I need to see it there? It hurts so bad 3 times to see it gone.
Foster can design much more durable ones.
I did want to make a comment. You know, one of the things that is becoming more and more frequent, even like nationally, is this idea of a sculpture walk. And Mary was mentioning the pads. And these are, you know, people's work for sale. They're usually up for a year or maybe 2 years, so it's like temporary. And typically, like Sioux Falls does one that has been going quite a while now, very successful. Like a business will sponsor a pad, and then each year the work is hurried in, and they pick work, and they're located. They have like a little walk through the downtown. So I think something like that is very, very doable. There are, as Mary mentioned, also the logistics of, the work has to be of a certain quality and material so that it can be durable, and there's a way of securing the work to the pad. In the case of Sioux Falls, I think they are using large stone blocks, and then they have a metal plate on the block that is anchored, and the work is actually literally welded to the plate. So they are really into it, and but it has been very successful. I know a number of local Northeast artists have participated in it, Michael Garros, Kyle Fulton, and they also give awards, money, and people's choice. So that, I think, is something that's very doable, and like I say, it's a lot of communities are doing similar.
I actually have a question, Mary. When you came and talked to my class, you talked about maintenance of public art, and the one story that sticks in my mind is about the NRP bunny that all the children crawl on, and it gets very sticky and hard to maintain. But it seems like maybe part of our, in this community, a maintenance issue could be taken care of by this idea of having temporary sculpture or temporary art of some kind that would only be there for a certain amount of time. And I'm wondering, is with all the experience that the city has in its collection of 40-plus arts pieces, are there reports or studies that would be available to our community to demonstrate, securing the art, maintaining the art, so that decisions maybe could be made ahead of time on how we could fund such a project?
Well, we do have conservation reports on every artwork that we own. We don't own temporary work, so the artwork that generally gets built for the city is already pretty durable, which is different than when you do like a sculpture walk, for example. A lot of, like, for example, metal sculptors who do private works don't build works to be climbed on to support the human body, or don't think about how could a child get impaled by the pointy elements on this, or the kinds of things that we would evaluate it for all the time. So, it's a really different realm, temporary versus permanent. And although there is, even what's temporary, there is maintenance stuff. Temporary stuff can get vandalized,
right,
too. We're actually going to start doing a manual for artists about kind of like best practices in terms of public art and how to design and plan for the public realm, and what materials are the most durable, and what are some of the safety issues and things like that. We design every sculpture we design has to hold a live load of a person, has to be able to hold a person, weighs 250 pounds. If the sculpture's near a bar or a stadium, it has to hold a person who weighs 300. That's like our internal law, because everything gets climbed on. Everything gets climbed on, and if we think more than one person can be on the sculpture at a time, then we'll increase that. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to think about, and I think the sculpture walk thing is a very doable thing. If you want to do it on city property, it's going to get more scrutinized than if you want to do it on private property. Or the park board's really experimenting in Nokomis with lots of different works that the Arts Commission never would have approved because they just seem kind of risky or like they could get damaged pretty easily or they could be climbed on. So they also did ask the artist to sign a liability release form saying if their work was damaged in any way, they wouldn't be held accountable for that. And so, and with artists, that is an area of tension and concern. The thing about temporary pieces or even pieces on private property is how are you going to insure them both for if somebody gets hurt as a result of it, but also if it gets stolen. And one thing I really caution you to avoid, especially in this community, but anywhere, is don't develop a project that is totally based on the notion that artists will volunteer everything and give away everything. Value the artist and their contribution and treat them like professionals. And if you're going to do something like a sculpture walk, think about what is the best way to support them. Can you provide stipends? Can you provide insurance? Things like that. If the artists are the primary funders of the project, I think you just have to be careful. Don't exploit artists through whatever project you develop. Support them because they're part of the economic development of this community, and you don't want to take them for granted.
Thank you.
Margot, and then Tammy, and then does anyone want to comment as far as taking Mary's idea about where's the energy? There seems to be some energy around the Pearl-Gann Porch at Central Maui. The question is, whose energy? How widespread is it? Can you comment on it's been going on for X amount of time and it hasn't really gotten legs? It should die, or that's just normal. It's going to take a while to get that project off the ground. Anyone want to comment on that?
Well, I admire Jeff for taking on a project like that where he is the sole, organizer. He's fundraising, and so that's really challenging. I would like to see the piece. I hope it can come to fruition, and I know there has been a fair amount of support for it. I do think there's, maybe he has to consider the scale and, some things like that in terms of what resources are available. But I think that, the other issue seems to be a permanent location where, that corner is, at least my understanding is, he has to conceive the piece in such a way that it can be moved at some point. And he was talking about moving over to those directions. So that's a problem too. What I think would be a nice, just for his effort, and I think the piece is, certainly worthy of it, that, we'll find a location for it. And that would be permanent, and at least you would have that much more. But I certainly support it. I guess I'd also like to see how, how he wants to include all these, there's supposed to be a lot of text. That's the pro-being
I also admire him for taking it on. And when you say it's taken a long time, actually, if you look at these projects, it's taken kind of what it takes. It took about 3 years to raise all of the money for the East Side Guardian. It took about 3 years to raise all of the money for the Bracket Rocket, and they're still raising money for additional things like lighting and